Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weebs here, and this is what if Naruto's parents survived, as in Kushina and Minato. Anyway, we begin this what if with Minato actually about to seal away the Naruto's inside his child Naruto. But anyways, of course, Naruto, who was still a child, was crying, and Kushina asked Minato why do they have to do this to him? Everyone's gonna hate him, but of course, then the Shinigami actually talks and makes a deal with Minato, saying that if Minato treats his child just as well as his future children, as in, of course, they're gonna have more. That's what the Shinigami is implying. He will, or he or she. I am actually not sure. So I'm not assuming any genders. 2021. Anyway, I'll say she just because we like women. I like women. Some people call me gay. I'm not gay. I mean, I have nothing against gay people, but I am straight. I support LGBT, but I am straight. Straight as a circle can be. Anyway, of course, Naruto got the QB sealed inside of him, and Kushina and Minato actually survived somehow, which no one really understands how. Anyways, after this, Minato stays as the Hokage, and he treats Naruto pretty well since he's just a newborn, of course. The next year, two new kids are born, Menma and Mito. Of course, Naruto's two younger siblings. They're actually twins, but that was a year after. So Naruto's a year older. However, Minato and Kushina actually then found out about the prophecy of course, two beings who can control the nine tails and all the other tail beasts. As in, of course, this time is not just the child of prophecy. Of course, they mentioned the child of prophecy at the beginning of the prophecy, but it says that there are two beings strong as hell who can control tail beasts and will save the world. And this is where Minato and Kushina and Jiraiya actually realize that these two beings of beyond the gods are pretty much Minato and Menma. But of course, we all know that Naruto shall always be the child of prophecy in my eyes, and he will always be the child of prophecy in my voice, and he will never, ever, ever not have plot armor. Anyway, so basically, Naruto's the most overpowered motherfucker ever. English anyway. So it's kind of hot today, and I'm kind of tired, and this is just a little bit of an energy boost. And I'm gonna do a double upload just for you, man, and you gal. I don't like saying that word. Fucking shit word. You women. Anyway, anyways, and all the other genders, trees, leaves, water, beds, broski. There's even brick now. Can't lie, still, man's about to change his fucking gender to window. Like, what one? Like, someone could be like, "Hey, yo, you're being sexist. I'm not a man or a woman. Man's a window." Like, I could just be like that out of nowhere and go to court. Like, what one? Anyway, I'm joking. Of course, that's not true, but you know what I mean. It's just a joke. Don't sue me. Anyway, of course, Naruto. I'm off track. Sorry. Of course, Naruto grows up seeing his two younger siblings trained like crazy. Trained as in they go through really hard training. Since the age of 4 they started training, and now it's been 2 years and Naruto is now 7 and he's still asking to actually be trained. He remembers once when he was 5 years old, he actually asked Kushina to train him with the Mito and Menma. Kushina then got really angry seeing that Naruto is pretty much the Naruto is something that she had herself and she should know better. But anyways, she got kind of angry because she was already angry that day. She wasn't in the best of moods, and of course Minato actually stopped her from hitting Naruto and said, Naruto, Mito and Menma need to get stronger for them to control you once you lose control. They're already implying that Naruto will lose control one of these days, and they have no faith in him, as in he's going to become the Naruto one of these days, one day or another. The Naruto really doesn't care of the treatment that Naruto is getting, as he really doesn't like Naruto right now. Yes, the Narutos will remain as per normal. Anyways, of course, he still feels a bit of sympathy towards Naruto because of his childhood and his parents this time. His own parents treating him like that. Even Hogoromo wouldn't do that. I mean, Hogoromo is the best being ever in his ass, but anyways, of course, Naruto, for the next 2 years, kept asking and asking, and he got beaten for a few times by Kushina and both Minato because they were getting pretty pissed off at him. And anyways, now Naruto has now given up after the last time he asked, which was on his 7th birthday, and Kushina actually gave him an excuse, saying that there's only one more year left, there's no point of him just starting training with them when he can just start at the academy. But something that they didn't know, Naruto is already a very strong shinobi, as in he's not a very strong shinobi, what am I talking about? He's very smart. He already knows most of the things that you learn in the academy because he spends most of his time in the library, because the librarian is actually someone who doesn't really hate Naruto, and whenever Naruto is there, he gives him the free office, that his own office, for Naruto to actually read books, and he treats Naruto like he was his own child. Anyways, Naruto grew up reading books, loving books in the library pretty much all the times, and whenever he used to go home, he used to go reading. On his 8th birthday, there was something, his 8th birthday, yeah, everyone forgot about it. However, 5 days later, yes, Mito and Menma actually born on the 15th. 5 days later, Mito and Menma's birthday, something mad happened pretty much. Naruto, as him being the oldest child, he would be, the heir to one of the clans, at least Uzumaki or the Namikaze, right? Of course, that's what Naruto believes, and that's why Naruto really wasn't too angry, because one day he will at least have some power over his siblings, and just be on top of them in something. But of course, this was taken away by him, stripped away by Minato and Kushina, giving Mito, who has red hair, just like Kushina, and Menma, who is basically Minato's replica, the clan hairs. So basically, Mito becomes the heir of the Uzumaki clan, and Menma becomes the heir of the Namikaze clan. This breaks Naruto's heart, as Naruto was actually watching from his little attic window, as he really doesn't have he doesn't have a room. He's in the attic, but anyways, now Naruto was very saddened by this. However, he should have expected it. These are his parents, and so instead of running away, crying, he actually just bottles her up, which would not be nice. Would not be good. That's what I meant. Anyways, Naruto fully gave up at that point. He has nothing to pretty much look forward to, and ever since, his bright blue eyes actually stopped radiating that bright blue color and became dull eyes, very dull, and you could barely see the blue if you were to look from far away. Before Naruto, you could see Naruto see blue eyes, and if you now look at them, you'd think they're black, but then if you get a really close look, they're actually very, a very dull shade of blue, as in dark, very dark. And anyways, now Naruto, ever since, he's not been really even asking or even talking to his parents or his family, and they haven't really noticed, as Menma and Mito don't really care. Of course, they don't like Naruto because Naruto is like the dead weight of their family. Of course, and one day Naruto, who actually enrolled in the academy, not by his parents, he wasn't enrolled by them. Menma and Mito were actually enrolled at the age of 7, but Naruto was actually... Bloody hell, who's talking that loud, man? Oh, sorry. Oh, bro. Sorry about the noises outside. I cannot deal with this heat if the windows are closed. But anyways, yeah. Sorry, I'm not going to ruin your experience just because I am hot and I might die. But this, anyways, I'm irrelevant. Anyway, of course, Naruto, who now was enrolling into the academy, and the person who enrolled him was the librarian, and his name is actually Toya, and Toya is very very old at this point in time, and on that day, Toya actually enrolled Naruto, and they were going to the library, but Toya felt really sick, and so the library was closed for that day, and of course, Naruto was with Toya in the hospital. Yes, he was that ill, out of old age. Toya was around like 94 at this point, and he did die on that day, which broke Naruto because Naruto had no one. There was only one person in this world that really cared for Naruto, and that was Toya. Naruto hasn't really done anything else to make people hate him. Well, of course, people hate him just for him breathing and having the Naruto's inside of him, but he never really made an effort of making people like him since he had Toya. Of course, Toya was really old when he saw Naruto, and Toya lost his children in battle in the First Great Ninja War, and they looked very similar to Naruto when they were young. Of course, after a while, Naruto did become more distant from him as what happened with Minato and them, but he could understand as Naruto told him everything, and he was very enraged, but couldn't really do anything as he was just a regular librarian, while Minato is Minato, as in one of the greatest shinobi ever. And anyways, of course, Naruto was going home now, and tomorrow would be the funeral, as no one really is attending except for the other people who work in the library, who's really, really fond of Naruto, but can see that Naruto really is antisocial, and he has PTSDs, pretty much. PTSDs, post-traumatic disorder, so Naruto really doesn't want to socialize with anyone after what happened, and Toya was the only one who really Naruto opened up to. And anyways, the next day, Naruto was there at his funeral. There were only three other people there, and those people were Haruka, one of the people who worked in the library, and two other guys, Haru and her brother, by the way. And I'm mentioning these people as Naruto. These people are really important to Naruto, even though Naruto doesn't really open up to them. These people are the people who actually care for Naruto, and Naruto knows that, and he understands that. Of course, they try, but it's him that's the problem. And anyway, these people are important to Naruto, and Naruto will do anything in the future to protect them. That's why he's actually becoming strong. As these people are actually pretty young. Yes, they're really young. They're only 18, 19, and 20. Of course, the oldest being the other dude. His name was Yato. Haruka, Haru, and Yato were really good friends, childhood friends, and of course, they were actually raised just like Naruto by Toya. Of course, Toya is now dead, and they would actually take his mantle, of course, running the library first of all, but making Naruto feel like he's welcomed every time he comes there. Anyways, now, of course, Naruto was crying the most out of everyone, as Naruto had no one in his life, pretty much. And anyways, after the funeral, Naruto was heading home. He stayed after Haruka, Haru, and Yato, as he was going home, and a few villagers saw him and decided to hunt the fox. And anyways, of course, Naruto got beaten. He got beaten hard. Like, he always gets beaten quite a lot. He always comes home with broken ribs, broken bones, everything. However, Toya used to actually heal him, or not heal him as in, help him out, and anyways, treat him. Anyways, Naruto was heading home, and this time the villagers weren't having it. They wanted the fox dead, and then of course, they start beating him. They do all sorts of things. You can imagine all the sorts of things that they were doing. I do not want to describe it, as I may get demonetized, and it's not even demonetization. I don't want to say those kind of words here, Okay, I do swear a lot, but these words are something that some may not like legit, not as in some words may not be okay with others. But anyways, Naruto gets beaten, and in the end they carve with a knife, demon, monster, killer, murderer, everything, all those kind of words, curse, these kind of words on Naruto's small body, as he's only an 8-year-old child. Naruto's on the ground bleeding as his life was slowly but surely fading. But here is where the Shinigami was not having this bullshit. Anyways, the Shinigami has been watching over Naruto for all these years, and he actually saw what was happening and saw Naruto's life fading, and he was like, "Nah, mate, man's not taking his life yet." The Shinigami then actually talks to Naruto, asking Naruto what he wants to be in the future. Naruto just says he wants to be dead. The Shinigami was very, very upset at this. And so, she went up to him and actually hugged him in his own mindscape, telling Naruto it's going to be fine, that she will bestow powers upon him. Naruto then declines, saying that if he's going to live, he's going to get his own powers. The Shinigami then smiles and then says, "Alright then, but however, I will bestow these powers, and these will only unlock once you are ready, which means you need to be very strong for these powers to be unlocked. And if you're not, they will never be unlocked, and they will be dormant in you forever." Of course, as she says that, Naruto's wounds heal. His scars remain. Well, not wounds, they don't heal, as she makes sure that he won't die. The bleeding continues until someone notices, the third Hokage. Someone who, after the Naruto's attack, hasn't been seen much, as he was quite depressed until the last year. He started going out a lot more. People were happy to see the third Hokage after his wife's death. He was broken, however. Now, he's getting back into that kind of vibe. He's going out a lot more. He's not fat. He's still skinny. He's still the strongest person in the world right now. Let's be honest. Anyways, he's met Menma Mito. He finds them very, very cute, and of course, it's like his little grandchild, Konohamaru. Oh, is he born yet? I don't think he's born, but anyway, they're like his little grandchildren until Konohamaru is born. I'm pretty sure Konohamaru was 4. Wait, wait. So Konohamaru is 27 and Naruto is 32. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. How old is Boruto? Naruto was 21 when he got Boruto. Blah 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 blah. So if he was 21 when he got Boruto is now like 12. What, 33? All right, say less. So you're saying that if Konohamaru is 27, 6 years younger, so Konohamaru is 2. Okay. Anyway, I had to do some maths in it. Leave me alone. Of course, he sees Naruto, and he knew who Naruto was. However, and he knew how Naruto was being treated. However, he didn't really do anything to stop it at the time. But once he saw this scene, this gruesome scene, he took him straight to the hospital. He got the best doctors, or the best doctor there right now, who was actually Tsunade. Tsunade was actually brought back to the village to actually train Menma and Mito with, of course, Jiraiya. Two Sanins training Menma and Mito is actually kind of good, if you know what I mean. But anyways, of course, she heals Naruto, and she can't really, take away the scars. But anyways, Naruto then wakes up 2 weeks later. He already missed 2 weeks at the academy, and once he's woken up, he actually looks to his left and right, and he sees nobody. Naruto then actually stands up and starts taking off the equipment that was stuck on him, and starts walking out. He puts his clothes on, his ripped up clothes, and starts walking home. Anyways, of course, Tsunade sees this, and she tells Naruto to stop, But Naruto just doesn't even look at her and just keeps walking on and says that he's fine. And anyways, now once Naruto gets home, of course, he opens the door to then see a happy little family talking at the dinner table on how their day was. And anyways, once Kushina noticed Naruto, and Minato actually noticed him too. They both went up to him and asked where he was for 2 straight weeks. And Naruto said, if you didn't know where I was these 2 weeks, there's no point of telling you now, as I am back home. What's the point? Of course, Kushina slaps him, and Minato actually punches him in the gut, which actually hurt quite a bit. Of course, Minato sees a bit of blood on his hands, actually reopening Naruto's wound. Naruto then just stands back up and says that he's going to go to his room, as he already knows what they're going to say. Anyways, Minato sees the blood on his hands and realizes that he may have made a mistake, but he brushes it off, he washes it, and then goes back to the dinner table. Naruto was suffering right now. He bandages himself up and then goes to sleep. The next morning, he wakes up, has a shower really early in the morning, and he goes straight to school at 6 a.m. Anyways, now Naruto hasn't eaten anything in 2 weeks straight, and on his way to school, of course, Haruka, Haru, and Yato actually saw Naruto and offered him breakfast. Naruto actually took it and actually gave them a really small smile, which they all got really happy at, because this is their first little step, baby steps, you know what I mean. And anyways, now of course they go their own different ways, as of course the three go to the library while Naruto goes to the academy. And anyways, now before he went uh, before he went to the academy, he actually went to visit Toya one more time, and telling him that he's going to start the academy from today onwards. Once he walks into the room, there's no one except for two other kids, Shikamaru and Shoji. And Naruto actually raises an eyebrow because it's currently like 6:20 in the morning. And anyways, now Naruto goes at the back of the classroom, sits down, and then he just waits for the teacher. As he looks out the window, he sees other kids walking in, and then sees Minato and Kushina dropping off their two kids. Anyways, once everyone's in the classroom, of course, Iruka did the roll call, and Naruto was last. And of course, once he called Naruto, he was already about to mark him absent. But when Naruto said that he's here, or he called out he's here, Iruka actually noticed him, and he was like, "Oh, you finally showed up." And anyways, of course, Iruka did kind of hate Naruto here. And anyways, Naruto will just look down at his desk, and it was alright. And anyway, of course, Naruto will sing on his own. And then after Naruto came another name, which was actually Sasuke's twin sister, and Notsuki. It's gonna be a different name, don't worry. It's actually Suke, and Suke, Suke, and she actually arrives on time today, as she came in late every single day. And anyways, now of course she comes right in time and says that she's here, of course out of breath, and she growls at Sasuke for not waking her up, and Sasuke just puts his hands up in his defense, saying that I tried, but you were too sleepy. And anyways, now she sits next to Naruto, since that's her usual seat, and she greets Naruto. And once she looks at Naruto's eyes, or Naruto's face, she sees a scar near his cheek, from his cheek, near the bottom of his cheek, going down to nearing his neck, nearing his throat, to all the way his neck. And of course, she sees this, but she doesn't see the full scar. She only sees it up to the neck, and anyways, the base of the neck. And anywho, after this, Naruto and Suke go mind their own business until break time. Of course, once break time arrives, everyone is actually going out except for Naruto, who actually just sits there. And people are asking what's going on, why is he not coming out. Iruka even asks, but then Mito and Manma just say that he's a weird kid, leave him alone. Even their parents don't really care about him. And this kind of made Suki angry at what at their claim, saying that how can you say that if you guys don't even hang out with him, as I've seen him a lot on his own. And anyways, Suki has actually noticed Naruto quite a bit on his own and how he gets beaten. She didn't see his last beating, of course, because it was a bit late. But anyways, now Suki actually remains in the classroom with Naruto and asks him questions, which Naruto gives vague answers like yes, no, maybe, I don't know. And anyways, now, of course, lunchtime arrives later on, and this time Naruto just walks up to the roof and just sits there enjoying the breeze. And anywho, after all of this, the first day of the academy finished with Naruto pretty much learning nothing, as he already knew most of the things, and he goes off on his own. Naruto actually begins training on his own in a abandoned training ground, which Suki actually sees him doing. And of course, Suki gives Naruto a tip to actually put chakra on his feet, so it's easier for him to keep balance, as she saw him fall quite a bit. And Suki is a prodigy, just like Itachi, and Itachi trained both Sasuke and Suki. And here there is no Uchiha massacre as of right now. And anyways, maybe there will be, maybe not. That's for me to decide later on in the story as the story progresses. And anyways, now Naruto actually makes his first ever friend, and that is Suki. And anyway, Suki actually asks Naruto his full name, as she never really was there, and she knows that he's an Namikaze Uzumaki, but she wants it from him. And anyways, Naruto just says, my name is Naruto, just Naruto. And Suki actually raises an eyebrow and says, wait, aren't you Mito's and Nanuma's brother or something? Naruto then just shakes his head, saying, indicating that he is not. He does not consider himself as their sibling, and he is just a dead weight that should be dead by now. And anyway, Suki's eyes kind of got sad as she heard Naruto saying that he should be dead. And anyways, she tells him not to ever say that again, and introduces herself Suki Uchiha. And Naruto and go two different ways. The next morning, Naruto actually arrives in class before everyone, but then, of course, Suki comes after everyone and asks Naruto what time he came. Naruto finally opening up a bit. He said at 6 a.m. and Suki asks how does he wake up that early, and Naruto says that there isn't much for him to dream about, for him to sleep longer. And anyways, Suki is saddened by this and just tells Naruto that maybe he can have dreams of her. And of course, Naruto asks, of course, this made Suki look blush, but of course Naruto just raises an eyebrow and says, what should I have dreams about? The people who I don't even know. And anyways, of course, Suki just gets saddened by this because she thought that Naruto and her were friends. But then Naruto said, I'll give it a shot though. Of course, realizing that Suki was getting sad. And anyways, now a few years pass like this. Of course, Naruto now has only two friends, as in three: Shikamaru, Choji, and Suki. And anyways, they don't really train together. It's only Naruto and Suki, but Suki actually stopped training with her older brother, as of course Sasuke continued, but she was a prodigy and she already knew most of the stuff that Sasuke was actually struggling to learn. But so the thing about Sasuke is that even if he struggles to learn it, once he learns it, he continues practicing it until he's a master at it, and he can do it with barely any trouble. While Suki, yes, she can master it like him, but she's more of a, alright, I learned it, I'm gonna improve a bit, or I'm gonna leave it. As long as I can use it a few times in a battle, that's fine by me. And anyways, Naruto is someone who is very secretive. Even Suki doesn't know his true powers, as Suki has a 3-to-1 Sharingan now, and it's she's 11 by now. Naruto is very strong, and he actually doesn't look like any of his parents, as he has both red. Well, he looks like both of them, but you know the hair is not just one type. His hair actually has red strings on it. Oh, not red strings, stripes. Yeah, and his normal hair. Well, Menma looks exactly like Minato, and Mito looks exactly like Kushina. And then now Naruto and Suki were actually just hanging out in the library. Naruto was helping out Haruka and Haru, while Yato actually took over since he was the most experienced and the oldest, and they didn't mind. And then the office actually became a room of scrolls, and of course things to commemorate, you know, uh, the Naruto's lost parent, pretty much, as you know, Toya died. And anyways, now the next year, another year passes, and Naruto hasn't been home for the past 3 years. The Hokage has been keeping tabs on Naruto with an Anbu who doesn't really like Naruto and wouldn't mind killing him, but he is his sensei's son, father. And anyways, now it doesn't really kill him unless his sensei tells him to. But anyways, now the Hokage now actually makes a visit to the fourth Hokage's home on Naruto's 12th birthday, and Naruto's on his 12th birthday he was actually with Suki training. At this time it was kind of late, but of course Suki got permission from Fugaku and Mikoto, as they know Naruto's story, but now Naruto hasn't told them directly, but Suke has, and she used this as an excuse to spend his birthday together with him, as he has no one to spend it with other than the librarians, which of course they did spend it together. They had a little party, of course, a little cake, but other than that, nothing else. There were presents. Naruto actually received some new clothes from Haruka, a kunai pouch from Haru, and Yato gave him a secret scroll that belonged to his father, and of course his father was a shinobi, but he wasn't really that known, but he was quite strong. He wasn't known, but he was strong, and he died protecting his comrades instead of fighting to complete the mission. Just like, instead of like the White Fang, he actually died protecting his comrades, and his comrades always commemorated him. And anyways, he was meant to follow after his father's footsteps, but he decided not to, as his father always told him that it's his choice, and his choice was to go with what he liked, books. And anyways, of course, he gave it to Naruto as it's a family heirloom, but he believes Naruto is part of his family. It's like his little young brother, But anyways, now Naruto and Suki were just hanging out, of course, in each other's arms. Yes, Naruto has finally found someone who he can truly trust, and he can truly he can truly love. And anyways, love. Now the Hokage walks into the house, and the preparations for Menma's and of course Menma's and Mito's 11th birthday. And anyways, of course, the Hokage greets Minato and Kushina, and Minato and Kushina greet Hokage back. But anyways, of course, they invite him in, and they were telling him about the plans, and of course, the Hokage asks him, "Do you remember what this day is?" And of course, they say, "Yes, of course we remember what this day is." And the Hokage raises an eyebrow and says, "Oh, really? So what is it?" Of course, they say it's the day that the Ninth was attacked, and it was sealed into Naruto, someone that we haven't seen in a while, in fact. And anyways, now Naruto, of course, this pissed off the Hokage and said, "Oh, really? How long haven't you seen him for? Huh?" And as he asked that question, they actually thought about it, and they said, maybe nearly 4 years now. And of course, they said it casually as if they didn't care, and the Hokage really snapped at this point. It is like, "You two are disappointments. If only Orochimaru was still here. If only I chose him, maybe he wouldn't have been gone by now. I'll be leaving now." And anyways, he puts his hat back on and walks out the house. And Mito and Menmo were kind of scared because the Hokage was letting out a really cold bloodlust. And anyways, now of course Minato was kind of confused on why the Hokage is so pissed. But anyways, Naruto then actually tells Mito his future plans, that he will be leaving the village. Yes, he will be leaving, as he met someone who helped him out quite a bit, and of course this added Suki, but she realized that if this is what Naruto wants, yeah, and this is what Naruto thinks is best for him, it's better for him to go. And Naruto said that he will never exist in anyone's minds in this village, or he will never be here ever again. And what he means by this is that he will make Suki forget about him. As he says that he actually puts two fingers on Suki's forehead, just like Itachi does. But this was a jutsu, a memory erasing jutsu. The person who does this jutsu will actually erase all memories, everything to do with themselves, and replace them with just nothingness. And anyways, he did that with a few people, Suke, uh, Menma, Mito, Kushina, and Minato only remember up to when he was 8. The Hokage, Naruto actually did it in his sleep. Yes, Naruto is that skilled. He's able to break into the Hokage's room, which is heavily guarded, by the way. And the Hokage is the Hokage. He can sense anything at this point. And anyways, of course, he tapped his forehead really lightly and deleted or erased memories of Naruto. Uh, well, he tried to. He thinks he did it, but of course, he didn't do it. And anyways, now Naruto goes to Haru, Haruka, and Toya, and thanks them all, of course, erasing their memories. And he erases pretty much everyone's memory except for the people who only hate him and who remember him as a beast. And anyways, now Naruto then turns around, or heads towards the uh, gates and sees the two guards actually asleep. Naruto just chuckles a bit, saying this village is really doomed. And as he says that, Naruto walks out of the village. Of course, Naruto was walking out, and his plan was actually to join the Akatsuki. Yes, he wanted to join the Akatsuki, but for a different reason. He knew what their goal was, and he knew exactly what they were trying to do to get him into it, to actually capture him. However, Naruto actually wanted to get into it to save the other Jinchuriki who must have went through things like him, and even if they didn't, he wants to save them nonetheless because they're human beings too. That's Naruto's long life goal. And anyways, once he leaves the village, of course everyone forgets about him, and a few months later is the Genin exam. And anyways, everyone passes, and the last two names were actually Naruto, just Naruto, and of course Suki. Naruto's name was called out, and everyone was perplexed. And they said, Naruto, he hasn't been showing up since the first year. Why are you calling him now? And Iruka's like, oh, sorry, I must have forgot to take away his name from the register. And at this time, at this point, Iruka doesn't really hate Naruto. In fact, he's really fond of Naruto. And Naruto is thankful for that, but he still raised his memory as he had to do with everyone else. And he was kind of confused on why this name was reminds him of someone, or someone that he's known for a long while, when Naruto has only been there for one day. And then he's not. Of course, Suki goes next. Suki passes easily, getting Rookie of the Year, and the dead last would actually be Menma, but that was because he didn't really try. He was actually very strong. And anyways, the teams would be as follows. So it's of course Menma, Sasuke. Team 7 will be made out of 5 people: Menma, Sasuke, Mito, Sasuke, and Sakura Haruno. And anyways, since Naruto is not there, a team specifically for them can't be made. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto and Naruto is actually with the Akatsuki, and the Akatsuki is training Naruto. Naruto was already pretty strong, but now it's been a few months, and he's beyond he surpassed anyone's expectations, as he's able to fight toe to toe against Deidara, Sorcery, with his third Kazakage puppet, and also Hidan. Of course, he's not able to go over these three because the rest are just way too strong and experienced. But Naruto, having little to no experience and being this strong, is very impressive. Of course, Naruto is wearing a mask as he likes to do, and it's a mask very similar to Kakashi's and anyway. Of course, Kakashi and Kushina were the senseis of Team 7, and anywho, once Team 7 meets their senseis, they actually have the bell test on the same day, and anywho, on this day, of course, Suki was feeling very empty. There was something missing. Like, it's been there forever, but there's something missing. Like, this feeling has been there for a few months now, but today it's been really bugging her, and it's just that she can't handle it anymore. And she asks who this Naruto guy was, and Kushina raised an eyebrow. You mean my eldest son? And of course, she puts a bit of venom into the saying eldest son, not even Naruto. She says eldest son, but anyway, she doesn't say, "Oh, Naruto is my eldest son." No, she said, "Dad, he was my eldest son." And anyways, now, of course, Kushina just explained that he hasn't been seen for a while. He is where he is. Anyways, Menma, he was just meant to be a support ninja for Menma and Mito, anyways, and this kind of angered well Suki. However, she didn't understand why she was getting angry, and so she didn't really do anything. And anyways, the bell test went as I'm about to describe. Sasuke and Suki do not work well together, but Suki had these combo techniques that she was meant to use with Naruto, but for some reason she knows these techniques, but she can't remember who she was using it with, and she can't find anyone to actually use it with, as Naruto is not there. These techniques were made especially to work well together. For example, the dragon and the wind, the fire and wind dragon jutsu, which would combine into a very big fire tornado. Well, not fire tornado, but an amplified version of the two dragons into one, which would do immense amount of damages. But anyways, of course, Naruto was sent on a mission to actually keep an eye on Konohagakure by Obito himself, and Naruto actually goes back to his old village and sees that nothing's pretty much changed, but he was actually watching the bell test. And yes, Naruto's going to keep an eye on them because the Chunin exams are going to be held here, and they know that the Kazakage's son, which is Gaara, the One-Tailed Jinchuriki, is going to be there, and they want to get as much intel on them as possible for the next 3 years, as once Naruto is 16, they're going to start the hunt of the tail beasts. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto is spying on them and seeing how strong Konoha is, as once they find out that Naruto's gone, they will hunt him down, or they will hunt down the Akatsuki when they find out that he's in the Akatsuki. And anyways, he sees that Suki using these techniques that he's meant to use with him, and a tear just rolls down his cheek, as this really is saddening to him. And anyways, now Naruto just looks away after Suki was actually able to snatch a bell from Kakashi when he was off guard, and of course Sasuke from Kushina, and Mito and Menma as well from one of each. And anyways, they didn't work together, but that could be worked on. And anywho, well, Mito and Menma worked really well together, but the other two Uchiha weren't really working together. But anyways, there was something off about Suki, as she was fighting in a way as if there was someone else fighting with her, as she stops attacking for a second and waits for something to happen, and then she continues to attack again, which would be actually Naruto switching with her and attacking as well. But then they keep switching with each other so they could do equal amount of damage, and they wouldn't get as fatigued, and in the end they would finish it together. But of course, that would never happen, as Naruto is no longer here in their minds. And anyways, once the Hokage actually got pretty pissed off and asked where Naruto is, as he was like, well, Naruto is the Nanto's Jinchuriki, and he needed him to actually be trained at this point, and he realizes his mistake of not training him earlier. Well, this is the third Hokage, and anywho, of course, he wanted Naruto to be strong, as he would be a weapon to Konoha, and that's pretty much all he remembers of Naruto, being there to be a weapon and use the Naruto's against any other villager that would oppose them. And anyways, of course, Naruto has become quite strong, and as in quite strong, very strong. I know I'm being very vague about his techniques, but once he starts fighting, you understand. And anywho, Naruto, who of course was watching Team 7, actually, continues watching after the Team 7 himself, while other clones were watching over other things. For example, Hokage, what they were planning to do, and the third Hokage, who was actually searching for Naruto. And anyways, this kind of saddened Naruto, because this was like his grandfather, and who actually took care of him in the shadows, and he knew that he had already found out, and that's why he really was like, oh, God damn, I need to leave him too. And anyways, now, of course, the Hokage actually breaks this little jutsu that Naruto did on him, and he remembers everything. And he asks Iruka, Suki, Kakashi, Minato, Kushina, and he's asking around, but no one is recalling what's going on, what the Hokage is talking about. And he goes to the training ground that Suki and Naruto used to use, and he sees the state that it's in. He sees craters everywhere. He sees a lot of cut down trees. He sees a lot of burned trees as well, as both Suki and Naruto were going all out in their sparring sessions and in their teamwork sessions, as they would be fighting another two clones equally as strong as them, of themselves together, and each of them knew exactly what they were doing, and so they needed to outsmart each other. And anyways, now the Hokage was very confused on how no one remembered, even Suki, and he actually added 1 + 1. There was this jutsu thing in his mind, and that was stopping every memory from Naruto. Naruto disappeared from everyone's minds, and this jutsu that Naruto created can only be broken from the inside. No Yamanaka could do it. Nothing can break it unless the person themselves break it, remembering Naruto. And of course, this only happened for the Hokage because the Hokage was very fond of Naruto. So is Suki, but Suki is very conflicted because she doesn't know what she's thinking about. While the Hokage knew the exact target of his thinking, Naruto, and in the end, is not Naruto. He kept thinking about it until he remembered a few things that he was doing in the past and to help someone, but he couldn't remember until the name Naruto popped up in his mind, and he just imagined Naruto, and then he actually just broke. He just snapped. The jutsu just snapped, and Naruto's memories returned, as in the memories of Naruto returned in his mind. And anyways, of course, he wanted Suki to at least find out, as Naruto was really fond of her, and they used to hang out quite a bit. And anyways, now Minato and Kushina, Naruto was watching Team 7 actually get their first overseas recognition a month later, while Naruto continued his training, just saying he didn't slack off. He was continuing on his training, as he already knows the Rasen Shuriken, and now, yes, within this month he actually learned the Rasen Shuriken, and he's on par with Kakuzu at this point. And then now Naruto and Team 7, not Naruto and Team 7, sorry. Team 7 was sent to the Land of Waves, and Naruto actually followed them along. And once the Demon Brothers appeared, of course, here, Team 7 was easily able to dispatch them. And since there's so many of them, they actually decided to continue the mission. And anywho, after this, they meet Zabuza, and both Kushina and Kakashi realized that Zabuza is going to be a hard fight, and Haku was already there. Haku decided, since there were so many of them, Haku decided to come out, and both of them would have to take on one each. But they didn't know how many of Zabuza's subordinates were there, and so they actually decided to retreat. But as they were doing, Zabuza nearly killed Suki. Yes, Suki actually got captured by Zabuza, and he was actually about to kill her on the spot until, out of nowhere, black lightning surrounded Zabuza, and a demonic voice, told him to drop her down, otherwise it will kill him instantly. As the lightning was getting closer and actually started electrocuting Zabuza a bit, and Zabuza's like, do you really think you can scare me? And as he says that, Naruto actually appeared with his mask on, of course being a fox mask, and having the Akatsuki cloak on with the hood on as well. It's literally Obito's attire when he was versing the full Hokage. And anyways, the masked man. Anywho, of course, Zabuza asked, is he from the Akatsuki? Because the Akatsuki was now actually starting to make the name a bit bigger. And as they were doing different type of missions, or not only spying, but they were doing missions to actually expand their name, expand their, supplies, money, supplies, everything. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto then just said yes. And if you don't let her go, I will kill you. Of course, Zabuza asks why. And Naruto says, because, yeah, why? I wonder. Oh well, I don't know, maybe I have a liking to her. I think she's going to be a great shinobi. Someone that's actually going to put up a challenge against me. Zabuza got kind of pissed at that, thinking that Naruto is saying that he won't be a challenge. And so he drops Suki, and both him and Zabuza rush Naruto, and Suki actually goes back to her team with a body flicker. Naruto actually takes on both Zabuza and Haku at the same time, and says that they're really strong and they would be great assets for a village, and they shouldn't be doing this anymore. As Naruto, remember, he's a righteous person. He's not going to just kill them outright, like on a whim, just because they tried to kill his loved one. Of course, most people would, but anyways, Naruto wasn't like that, and he just told them that. He actually points at the Konoha ninjas who are actually watching and says that if you ask them for forgiveness, maybe they'll take you in. And you can prove it to them by just stabbing behind or something. I don't really care. You guys have to handle this on your own. And if they try to kill you, just run. You're faster than them. They wouldn't leave their little teammates behind, or their little genis. Anyways, I'll see you all around. As he says that, Naruto actually turns into black lightning and just disappears. And of course, Naruto was added. Kushina made a note of Naruto, adding him straight to the bingo book as he's a rogue ninja. Of course, he's actually not a rogue ninja as he doesn't have a headband or anything. But of course, if he's part of the Akatsuki, that must mean that he's a rogue ninja, because it's made out of S-rank rogue ninjas. But anyways, of course, Zabuza and Haku asked for, them getting into the Leaf Village, and Kushina actually is more than happy to allow them in. And anyways, of course, in the end they joined them, and Gato was defeated very, very easily. And anyways, that's where I'm gonna end it off. I hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe. This was the King of Weaves, and yeah, this was kind of all over the place, but that's how we always are. And anyways, my ducklings are dismissed, and peace.